Game 6 of an 8-game homestand. The Sox have won 3, lost 2 as they take on the Orioles in game number 2 tonight. Sox might be a little salty after a 1-run loss in yesterday's ball game. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. The Sox drew within 1 mid-game, but never could get the equalizer last night.
A lot of opportunities last night, but unfortunately on the bases, the Sox weren't equal to the task. However, the Baltimore defense was. So we'll take a look at Adam Engel. Drives this ball into left field. Trey Mancini comes over, makes a good solid throw to second base, and Engel out by a mile. Scope waiting for him to arrive. And then it's Yolmer. Abreu tattoos this ball in the left field corner, and they decide to run on Manny Machado. Not a good idea. Yolmer's cut down on the plate, and a good tag there. And then Yolmer tries to lay down a bunt. Unfortunately, he's not able to do so. So Sox had their chances. They didn't get it done. They lose a 1-run game, and Baltimore secures the first of 4.
Tonight, the Orioles see a familiar opponent, a guy that used to be in their division, James Shields.
James Shields throwing the ball very well at this point. Last time out against Texas, he was absolutely brilliant. He's changed his arm angle. He's thrown it as well as he's thrown it in quite some time. And although he has just 1 win, look at that last time out. A season high in strikeouts with 8. He walked 3, gave up just 1 earned run on 3 hits and 7 1/3. And all things considered, he threw it as well as he can possibly throw it. His mound opponent, Kevin Gausman, had very good stuff. He's the first guy they're going to face all year that throws a splitter primarily. That's his wipeout pitch, the ERA at 3.88. Both of these guys have made 9 starts. And we'll see if James can win this ball game against Baltimore, even the series at 1-1.
Sox and Orioles, game number 2 on the way. And if the Sox are going to win, you got to avoid the tater. Manny Machado with his hardest hit ball for a home run this year. And there were 2 more after that in the 3-2 game. Sox and O's coming up.
Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
One of those guys is in the lineup tonight, one isn't. Tim Anderson, a rare day off as the Sox and Orioles get together for game number 2 of a 4-game series. And time now for the Webb Auto Group starting lineup for Buck Showalter's Baltimore 9. Trey Mancini leads it off once again. Then Jones, who had a home run yesterday. So did Machado. Scope in the 4 spot. Davis, Alvarez, the lefty. Trumbo, and then Peterson and Cisco get starts as well.
Defensive setup for our Sox presented by UI Health, and this is how Ricky Renteria is going to put them out there tonight with Liuri, Adam and Daniel in the outfield, Yolmer, Jose, Yohan, and Jose in the infield. Wellington Castillo gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is James Shields. On for his 10th start, his 11th game. He's 1-4. His ERA sinking recently is .488. And you see the strikeouts and the walks very similar, but left-handers have done nothing with him. That has a lot to do with his good straight change. The umpires for the game tonight, the crew chief, Bill Miller's got the plate. Todd Tishner at first, Alan Porter at second, and Jeremy Rehak, who did a nice job behind the plate last night. He's got third base. Buck Showalter, the skipper, the longtime skipper of the Orioles, with previous stints at New York, the Arizona Diamondbacks. In fact, he presided over the expansion draft, and he took that team from nothing to a pretty good ball club. And so James Shields is ready. We're ready. Time to turn it over to my irascible play-by-play man, Jason Benetti.
Once again, you're spot on with the adjective. Thank you, Stoney. Look forward to having you all for 9 innings. And Bill Miller's pretty brave tonight. He's going short sleeves on a chilly evening at the ballpark. Shields to Mancini, and we are off and running with ball number 1 at 7:10 tonight. 57 degrees at game time.
Not bad in the wind. Almost no factor tonight.
Third base, Yolmer Sanchez holds the line and gets it across for out number 1.
Terrific play by Yolmer and dug out nicely by Jose Abreu. So a good way to start it. Some good defense. Yolmer toward the line. Backhands this ball on a high hop. Crosses over into foul territory. And then a good pick. Jose backhands it. Secures the baseball. And 1 out.
Yolmer says thank you, Jose. Jose's seemingly forever tying his glove. That's twice in the last week.
I think he feels that occasionally some throws shake a little something loose. He doesn't want the ball to go through.
Adam Jones takes a strike. Orioles with 3 solo homers last night. Jones had 1, Machado had 1, and Trumbo had 1. This Baltimore team, which provides a lot of its offense through the home run ball, got all of it last night.
We're against Shields. He's been pretty good, but the numbers of Machado up behind him are even better in a limited sample against him.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. Sox and Orioles, in fact, both get a lot of their offense from the home run. 5th and 7th in Major League Baseball. The Indians do it most.
And the Indians leading across town 4-0 over the Cubs. That game in the early going, top of the 3rd.
Jose Ramirez has gone deep. A 3-run homer for Cleveland. So tonight, 75% of the offense for the Indians from home runs. Keep you up to date.
You keep on thinking that Indian team is going to put it all together and pull away, but right now, a game under 500, most surprising, especially with the pitching they have. The bullpen has been a bit of a problem for them this year, which is somewhat surprising.
We'll see the Indians coming up on this road trip. Sox will be in Detroit Friday through Sunday, and then Monday through Wednesday in Cleveland. Memorial Day early-ish start, and then a day game on Wednesday.
get our first look at the Indians and see exactly why that team is struggling so much.
2-2 from Shields. Got it inside, and Yolmer up to the task once again for route number 2. And here is what James Shields will feature, unless, of course, he was toying with something in the bullpen again today. He went splitter a couple of games ago against the Cubs, mostly fastball, but a lot of stuff. And these are his predominant pitches. He does throw a bunch of pitches.
He's known to invent a pitch, and that cutter he'll throw to either side of the plate. That cutter to Adam Jones was on the inside part of the plate, and for years pitchers refused to throw the ball in there. It's very effective because the hitter will give just a bit of ground and get some movement at the end. It produced a lazy ground ball to the left side. This is a guy that's given James some difficulty.
Manny Machado, 2 home runs against Shields' career, and that one is off of Wellington Castillo foul, 0-1. We'll hear later from Chuck Garfien after a conversation with Don Cooper about James Shields and his rotating arm slots. Chuck is downstairs as always.
James Shields has reinvented himself because he was having all kinds of problems and decided he was going to drop down to the right-handers, still throw that good straight change to the lefties, neutralizing their batting average. And if a right-hand pitcher can neutralize the left-handers, usually they're in pretty good shape.
The major league leader in runs driven in, Manny Machado, the opponent. Castillo's okay, and the 0-1 fades inside.
25 years old, and at the end of this season he will become a much richer man than he is now.
Pop up. And Jose Yohan Moncada makes the catch for out number 3. It's a 1-2-3 first inning. Kevin Gausman coming out. Lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. Okada and Sanchez, switch hitters. Then Abreu and Davidson, the righties. Polka, the lefty. Castillo and Garcia. Jose Rondon gets the start at short, and Adam Engel batting 9.
The defensive setup for the Orioles, presented by UI Health. And this is how Buck Showalter's going to throw them out there with Mancini, Jones, and Trumbo in the outfield. Peterson, Machado, Scope, and Davis in the infield. Chance Cisco's got the plate, and our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is Kevin Gausman. On for his 10th start, he's 3-3, pretty good ERA, and he throws a lot of splitters.
1/5 of his pitches plus this year, as he throws a strike to Moncada to start him off.
When a guy has a good splitter, you want to attack the fastball early in the count. You don't want him to get to the point where he's throwing that splitter because it is a wipeout pitch for him.
Ball and a strike on Yoan, who went 1 for 4 with a run and a walk in yesterday's game. Sox, as we showed you off the top of the show, had some chances to win that game last night. Scope at second throws out his counterpart, 1 away. You mentioned the splitter for Kevin Gausman. It's mostly fastball. The splitter is his most used secondary pitch, then the slider and an infrequent changeup.
Slider's pretty good. It's not great. The splitter is great, and he can make it move away from right-handers, which is unusual. That would, of course, put it inside to left-handers. Former #1 draft pick, 4th pick in the draft, so very highly thought of.
2012 out of Paul Maneri's juggernaut LSU program. So here's Yolmer, who was 1 for 5 in yesterday's game 1 of this series. Seeing the splitter less and less in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, because guys that don't throw it perfectly wind up with elbow problems. If you throw it perfectly, if you're pretty much going to push it out with your thumb, and then it's going to leave your hand before you deliver the baseball.
Yolmer a volley to left field. It's a 1-out base hit on 2 strikes for Yolmer Sanchez. And here comes Jose Abreu, the team leader in doubles.
He tattoos that ball, went low off the wall. Jose's been doing a whole lot of that lately. 9 doubles in the last 12 games. That's getting it done.
Two of those came last night for the now 31-year-old Jose Abreu. Sox come in about middle of the pack in Major League Baseball at 243 in batting average. 15th in slugging percentage, dead middle in Major League Baseball. And Jose certainly a part of that. Called a strike inside corner, 1-1.
Not too long ago, Gausman threw his fastball 96, 97 miles an hour. Now he pitches comfortably at 93, so the fastball is down. He still probably can go get it. He just can't pitch there consistently. It doesn't really have to. He's got pretty good control. He's walked 2 of 128 right-hand hitters this year. That's best among starting pitchers, as you would imagine. It's 1.6%, league average a little over 7%. So he's a pretty good young pitcher, still learning his craft. You look at 115 starts. He's 9 under 500 with an ERA just over 4, but he's got a very tough pitcher's park in Baltimore.
Throw to first on Sanchez. Orioles came in losers of 4 of 5 after the Sox won 3 of 4 against the Rangers. Positive homestand with 2 games left after tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes.
That was a good splitter, and that one he made move inside to the right-hand hitter, so he can move it both ways. And to do that, it's just a question of adjusting your thumb. And the master at that is a pitching coach for Baltimore, Roger McDowell, who moved his thumb, and for him it was the sinker, and he was able to break it both ways.
Strike 3 as the bottom drops out. Abreu punches out, 2 away.
There you saw one splitter that went into Jose, and the other splitter went away from him. Well, he's going to get close to 40% of his strikeouts with that. You see almost no spin on it. It comes out like a spitter, but it's not. There's a look at Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, and a good one. Many years in Atlanta, where he learned a whole lot from Bobby Cox, who was the manager.
A lot of people learned a lot from Bobby Cox.
Yeah, he was one of the best, and at one point was the general manager and the manager until John Sherholtz got to Atlanta, and they really provided a formidable team against all opposition. 14 straight division titles.
Right, it's unheard of in most modern sports. I mean, you think about UCLA back in the day in college basketball, what Kansas has done in college basketball in the Big 12 under Bill Self, but you don't hear about that very much. There's a lot of parity.
Basketball, in years past, you had a chance. I mean, the Celtics dominated for a long time. The Lakers dominated for a long time. But in baseball, look, you had Oakland with 3 straight World Series championships. You had the Big Red Machine in the middle 70s. You had the Yankees of the late 70s. But those days are done, especially for small market teams. Teams that are low revenue teams are not going to have sustained excellence. Even if they develop very well out of their minor leagues, they're going to get some defections. We saw with Eric Hosmer, who was born and raised in the Kansas City organization, went to San Diego. You can't blame him. They offered him pretty big money. Moustakas tried to go, but nobody offered him the big money, so he came back to Kansas City.
3-2 on Davidson. Sanchez will be off with the pitch with 2 down. Yeah, sports really aren't built for that anymore.
No, you talk about parity, and that's what it is. I mean, the fans of the various teams want to see their team in contention, and if they haven't done it for a while, they'd like to see it a lot. But a lot of factors necessitate that you're going to have booms and busts. You're going to win for a bit, and then you're going to have to rebuild, and win for a bit and rebuild. The only teams that don't are the high revenue teams. Boston doesn't rebuild. The Yankees don't rebuild.
Well, they kind of did. They were sellers at the deadline a couple years ago, but
yeah.
that was...
But, you know, for half a season.
Right.
Yeah.
That's low ball 4. Davidson takes yet another walk, his 27th of the year. And 2 on, 2 out for Polka.
The Orioles did not allow him to hit the first pitch last night. It'll be interesting to see what Gausman does.
He didn't see very much in the way of fastballs early in the count.
No, and if he saw them, they were outside off the plate.
Downstairs, ball 1. Now, do you think that's a missed spot there, or do you think he was trying to keep it low, in or out of the zone?
I thought he tried to throw it away and just kept it down, but it was over the middle of the plate. Certainly didn't want to throw that knee high over the middle of the plate.
In the dirt, scooped nicely by Cisco.
That was a very nice effort, taking 90 feet away from both base runners.
Sanchez at second, Davidson at first. There's the splitter, 2-1.
He's got supreme confidence in that. He threw it 2-0 also to Matt Davidson. Now he throws it 2-0 to Daniel Polka. Young fan figuring out the intricacies of the Fanta.
It's your drink must match your shirt night.
Fanta of the Opera.
Just about the same pitch, 2-2.
Another splitter and a good one.
Caps are getting easier this homestand.
Yeah.
2-2 from Gausman. He left that one up, and Polka grounds it to second for Jonathan Scope. 2 stranded for the Sox in the first inning. We'll play the second after this.
later in tonight's game.
And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on New Windsor Cable in New Windsor, Illinois, south of Davenport, Iowa, northwest of Peoria. Hello, New Windsor.
More Iowans watching.
Ball 1 to Jonathan Scope, who was 1 for 4 last night. He struck out twice, then singled to right, and bounced out in the 8th.
Scope's got some power, although he hasn't shown a whole lot of it this year. He will.
He's a big dude at second base.
He is that. 6'2", 235 pounds. Sturdy. Last year at 32 home runs.
Shields peppering the low part of the zone, 1 and 2.
They know they're going to lose Manny Machado, but they're really hoping to secure on a long-term basis Jonathan Scope, because they're going to have to go through a rebuild, and he should be part of it.
Held up that time, 2 and 2. Yeah, just 26 years old. He's out of Curacao, and the slugging percentage you would imagine would grow this year. It's been a rough start for him comparatively.
He's got a great park to hit in Baltimore.
Shields cancels that mission. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Left side off of Rondon. And Scope, the first base runner for the O's tonight. Let's check in for the first time tonight with Chuck Garfien. Hey, Chuck.
Hey there, Jason. We are looking at the metamorphosis of James Shields, who at 36 years old is in the process of reinventing himself on the mound. I was talking to Don Cooper before the game, and he says he's working from 3 different pitching angles, using 4, even 5 spots on the rubber throughout the game. A couple weeks ago against the Cubs, he introduced a forkball into his arsenal, and he was a fly ball pitcher for his whole career. He is attempting to become more of a ground ball pitcher, and one thing we're seeing results-wise so far this season is in the home run balls. Now, through 9 starts last year, he had given up 12 home runs. In 9 starts this year so far, he's only given up 4. He's got a tough customer here in Chris Davis, who can go deep. But Shields says a lot about him as a pitcher who at 36 years old wants to stay in the game. And to do it, he's had to change how he pitches to these major league hitters.
Chuck, thank you for that. The question I've got for you, Steve, is why use so many different spots on the rubber, and how difficult is that?
I don't think it's all that difficult. What he wants to do is get different angles. He realizes at this stage of his career he doesn't have the overpowering fastball anymore. He doesn't have the great straight change. It's a good one, but not like in his glory years where he could tell you it was coming and still get you out.
A matchup I'm watching here tonight is how he does against Machado. Coming into tonight, Machado was 4 for 8 with 2 homers and 6 RBIs against Shields, so he popped out in his first attempt. Let's see if the new and maybe improved James Shields is more effective with the way he's pitching now versus Machado.
Yeah, all those at-bats are against the guy that he knew from the American League East. One and 2 on Davis. You know, James, you hear the grunting.
Yes.
And he said earlier this year it's just kind of to activate his rib cage. Like, the idea is sort of like tennis players, just to get your body engaged. And he feels like air pathway wise, the grunting gets him more engaged as he's delivering the ball.
Pretty much goes with whatever works. Do what you need to do to get hitters out. He's gone to 2 splitters in a row to try to neutralize Davis, who is a good low ball hitter, but he's trying to use that strength against him, because the splitter looks like a fastball till it comes to the plate. Then it just disappears. And against the Orioles, 11 and 8. He's seen them a lot. He's starting his 28th game against them with an ERA just below 4.
Steve, I got a question for you. How difficult is it for a pitcher to go from being what's considered a fly ball pitcher to more of a ground ball pitcher in the middle of your career, or even towards the end of it especially?
Yeah, this is really not the middle with James, who's got a whole lot of innings under his belt and a whole lot of starts.
He spins in, strike 3. First punch out for Shields tonight.
He drops down, and that one settles over the outside corner. And Davis, who's really struggling this year, continues those struggles.
His 62nd strikeout. You know how boxers kind of make a hissing sound as they deliver a punch?
Well, each boxer has a different sound.
Right.
Like tennis players and everything else. Yeah.
But that type of sound that they make, James said he learned from that type of athlete, from the boxer, how to keep his abs engaged. So that's if you're hearing the grunting.
That's
and
it.
you were wondering about it. Thought
There you
maybe
go.
James might want to become a tennis pro. It's more of a boxing lean than anything.
Difference is here his teammates can help him out. In tennis, not too many teammates.
You were a doubles player?
Singles and doubles. Yes.
You just didn't help out your teammate?
In doubles, yes. But mostly singles in those days. I could actually move.
Scope at first, one away for Pedro Alvarez. That ball is hit well down the line and foul. Go get it, Burley. He had no interest.
Well, Alvarez has got some pop, as you see, with 8 home runs, but the batting average well down. They don't pay him to lead the league in average. They pay him to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
And that he's done. When he hits for extra bases, it's normally a home run. He's got 10 extra base hits this year. 2 doubles, 8 homers. Two. Chopped foul. Let's tell you what we've got coming up on our telecast this lovely evening from Chicagoland. Richie Zisk. This day in White Sox history. We'll go around Major League Baseball to our teenage years, and then late spring bargains are available at the swap meet. Chris Kampka, proprietor. He'll have things for us to weigh and purchase but not see. 2-2 for Alvarez. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mark Trumbo's on deck. He had a very 2018 night last night. He struck out 3 times and homered and was ejected.
I talked with him before the game, and he said that's the first ejection of his career, and he's been around a long time in the major leagues and in professional baseball.
A little bit low, ball 4. The Orioles have 2 on with 1 out. Before he was thrown out, he threw a ball out.
He went down and got this one. 110.3 miles per hour exit velocity. 26-degree launch angle. Pretty much a line drive, and that one got out in a hurry. Whatever wind there is tonight, and there's not much, is lazily blowing in.
Outside for ball 1 to Trumbo.
I asked Mark about his injury. He said he had a quad problem, and he tried to battle his way through in spring training, then got to the point where it was bothering him when he ran, it was bothering him when he hit, and he said, you know, I just had to go on the DL. So he had a late start, And this is essentially just past spring training for him. He's had 77 at bats.
Breaking ball away, drives Castillo to the mound along with the infield to talk to James. Well, Shields got out of the first inning. That's been the trouble spot this year, in part because of that opener against Kansas City, but his ERA was 9 entering play tonight. 1, 2, 3 first.
Had no problem. A couple of ground balls and a pop-up. In the second inning, base hit by Scope and the base on balls, along with the strikeout of Davis. James is in a bit of a spot.
Don't really want to be 2-0 on Mark Trumbo.
Not too often, not with his power. And now that he has most of his spring training under his belt after the injury, he's starting to swing it pretty well. He said he feels that his stroke is grooved at this point and no ill effects from the injury at all.
Three balls and no strikes on Trumbo.
And you can bet that he has the 3-0 green light, and I'm sure James realizes that, especially with Peterson in the on-deck circle. Peterson hitting below 200 and yet to hit a home run.
Trumbo, for his career, when he gets to a 3-0 count, has an on-base percentage of .736.
It's pretty good.
Oof. You get him out about a quarter of the time once you get him to 3-0.
That was a good low fastball. He didn't want to swing at it, so at 3-0, in control of the at-bat, he just took it and waiting for a better pitch.
Three balls and a strike for Trumbo. Three and two now for his career. He has not been a good two-strike hitter at all. Just 166 lifetime.
He has a tendency to expand that strike zone and swings at most everything. He's walked one time in 77 at bat, so odds are overwhelming. If this one is close, he's going to be hacking.
Three and two. Off Castillo again. It's 1 inning tonight for Wellington.
Not a habit you want to get into, but they do come in bunches, and there's that cutter inside. This one doesn't do a whole lot, and square in the mask of Wellington.
Three and two. Trumbo, fair ball. Scope on his way home. It's a double for Trumbo, and it's 1-0 Baltimore.
James got that one up. If you're going to drop down sidearm, you don't want to throw it on the inner third. You want to keep it away, and James didn't, and Trumbo just bashes it. So he is indeed swinging the bat well. Short quick stroke, short follow through, and drives it into the corner. So for Trumbo, just the 8th run driven in, but now that he's entirely healthy, he's going to drive in a whole lot more.
That's his first career hit against James Shields. He was 0 for 9 coming in.
Got a very hittable pitch up in the zone and knew exactly what to do with it.
Jace Peterson takes low. Former Yankee who was claimed by the Orioles about a month ago on April 25th.
Infield is back. They're going to concede the run to try to stay out of a big inning. Of course, Yolmer in close at third, and Abreu a couple steps in back of the bag at first.
Wellington Castillo is just a crash dummy tonight.
He goes through streaks. I mean, we saw Alex Avila get hit sometimes 7, 8, 9 times a game. Wellington's got a 3 spot so far in the early going. He'll be sporting a little blue with that black uni and chest protector.
Ball and 2 strikes on Peterson. Sox lineup leans lefty late. 5, 6, 8, and 9 hitters are all left-handed.
Pretty good numbers against James Shields, 4 for 8. But he swung over the top of that last sinker.
Off speed away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alvarez at third. Trumbo at second. Shook off the first one. Agreed with the second. 2-2. On the ground, second base. It gets a run home. Moncada to first. Alvarez scores. Trumbo to third, and it's 2-0 Baltimore.
For Peterson, that was a good at bat because he knew with the infield back, all you needed was a little contact. He was able to do just that. Drives in his 8th run, so both Trumbo and Peterson driving in their 8th run here in the second inning.
Youngest player in the Baltimore lineup tonight, Chance Sisco, the catcher. He's 23 years old. His second season in the majors. He's down a strike.
If you can find him, you love your backup catcher to hit left-handed. They sent down Caleb Joseph. He was the incumbent behind the plate, but Joseph has had all kinds of problems hitting the baseball this year. After a good year for him last year, he had 256. Didn't drive in a whole lot of runs, but did play in 89 games.
Baltimore team comes in last place, 15-32 in the American League East, which is bunched up at the top and in the middle. And Buck Showalter's O's 17 under right now.
James with a whole lot of pitches so far. He'll be delivering at the very least 46 in these 2 innings. He's 1 strike away from getting out of this one, but he's expended a whole lot of pitches to try to get there.
2-2. Fades away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Trey Mancini at the top of the order would be next. There he is. He of first inning ground ball fame. Seems like James and Wellington are not on the same page tonight.
James has so many pitches and so many speeds of pitches that sometimes you're not in sync with your catcher. And the appeal says no. He is aboard with another walk, and James frustrated with himself. He feels he let Sisco get away. And here comes Don Cooper.
First and third, 2 out. Coop's on his way, and we remind you that your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your trusted teammate throughout the mortgage process. Experience the difference today at rate.com.
These are 2 teams that are in the same spot. However, the future is a lot brighter for the Sox because of their minor league system. The Oriole minor league system is really not rated all that highly, and one of the things that they've failed to do over the past few years is develop their academy in the Dominican Republic. They just don't get a whole lot of players from there. They don't have a lot of major league scouts, and I think it's really hurt them as a ball club. They also don't do much in the Pacific Rim, and so they have to depend very heavily on the draft. So when you hit a good draft or 2, you're in good shape. If you don't, you can't supplement with a lot of Latin players.
Mancini right side. Polka's on his way, and Daniel is on the spot for out number 3. After the break, Wellington Castillo didn't make it through 9 last night. That's the subject of our One Thing with Ricky after this. Castillo after the 6th inning for not running out a pop-up, and Ricky trying to lay a foundation. I asked him about that in our One Thing with Ricky. Who stands out in your mind as somebody you watched that taught you the power of habits?
Wow, good question. Interesting. My first camp in the big leagues out of high school was Major League camp, and Phil Garner was on that club, and they had won the World Series in '79. And I remember walking up and down the dugout, and he grabbed me by the belt. I don't know if I ever told you the story. He may not remember this, but he grabbed me by the belt and says, "You sit right here and you watch me, and I'll show you how to play this game." So I'll give it to Phil Garner.
Thanks, Ricky.
You're welcome.
Talk about a captive audience. That's leadership right there from the former big league skipper.
Well, they called him Old Scrap Iron. He was a tough player. He played hard all the time. I played against him and was on the other side of the equation in the '79 World Series, where we are family Pirates, not led by Phil Garner because Stargell was the MVP of the World Series, but Garner was a big part of that team, and he would do the little things to beat you. And Ricky was that kind of player when he played, former #1 draft pick. I'm sure he enjoyed the way Scrap Iron played the game. I used to work out with Phil in the off season.
How was that?
He was an interesting guy. He really knew the game of baseball and was a long-time manager. I think you could see it when he played. You could see that he was destined to manage because he understood every aspect of the game, and he had everybody hustle all the time. And if you didn't, you heard from him.
Certainly a reason that Phil Garner's name rang in Ricky's ear.
Yeah, it was that.
Well, you know, you think about what happened last night with Castillo. You get the pop-up, and he's a veteran. He's 31 years old. But Wellington seemed understanding when it came to being pulled from the game. Line to left. No hurt feelings for Wellington Castillo from this.
This was a key situation. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, and Castillo just stood there. And Ricky, who's got a rule, you run when you hit the ball. And when he didn't, it was time to pack it up. But no doghouse for Ricky Renteria. He just puts him right back in the ball game, which is a good thing. He got his message across, and he feels that tonight Wellington is best suited to help him win this game.
For Castillo's perspective, let's check in with Chuck.
Yeah, Ricky said that what Wellington told him was, Wellington said, look, you had to bench me. You had to take me out of the game because this is a rule that is for everybody. And it's not just here on the Major League club. One thing that Rick Renteria said yesterday was this is the rule all the way down into the minor leagues. And he doesn't want anyone in the minor league system of the White Sox to see Wellington Castillo do that and not get reprimanded, because then they could think, well, if Wellington can get away with it, so can I. And that being said, Ricky said that what Wellington did was uncharacteristic of him. It was just a one-time thing, but what Ricky likes to say is one time it's an accident, the second time it's a problem, it's a habit, and you try to nip that in the bud, and I don't think we're going to see Wellington Castillo not do that again this year.
Yeah, you wouldn't imagine, but if you do have it happen twice and that starts to get ingrained, then you let it become a thing, and Ricky Renteria wanted to ferret that out, and he put himself in actually a negative situation for the game because he used the left-hander Narvaez and only had one player on the bench remaining in a close game. But that's the whole point. Sometimes it stings to make that decision. Strike one to Rondon. With Castillo at first, one away.
Big part about that was that Castillo is a veteran. And if you do it to the veterans, well, the young players know they're certainly going to get it done to them if they don't hustle. So it's an object lesson and message received.
Ball and a strike from Gausman. One and two to Rondon, who's got 3 hits and 13 at bats so far with the Sox this year.
getting a start tonight because Tim Anderson's really struggling with the bat, and this is as much a mental break as it is a physical break. Physically, he wants to play every day. Mentally, sometimes you get ground down, especially when you're struggling. He will find the answers. He's too good a hitter not to, but Ricky Renteria giving him the night off.
Fair ball down the line. Castillo gets a stop sign at third. We saw Manny Machado gun down a runner at the plate last night, so no attempt here, and Rondon with his second double.
That's a splitter that didn't do much. It stayed up, and Rondon took it down the line. See right there, it is well inside the bag, called by Jeremy Rehak. A diving Peterson can't get to it. Second double of the year, putting runners at second and third with nobody out. With one out.
Life happens fast.
It does indeed.
Second and third angle the batter, and this is a situation where you'd like to see Adam be able to come through just for confidence sake. After a nice plate appearance last night late in the game, he walks to flip it over to the top of the lineup card and takes strike one.
A fastball at 94. I think Adam would love to see that splitter, especially one that stayed up like the one to Rondon.
Fouled hard right side, 0-2.
Infield not all the way in. They don't have to be. If they're going to try to cut down a run at the plate in the two-run game, they go with the speed of the man at third base, and they know that Wellington doesn't have great speed. Now they move in a couple of steps, thinking that Engel will try to make some contact. Maybe thinking about maybe not hitting the ball as hard.
Second base, Castillo doesn't come home, and that is out number 2.
We're going to take a look at what a splitter can do to you. Then I'll show you the grip on the splitter. This one just disappears. Not much spin on it, and Leary goes down. So let's take a look at the grip of the splitter. See my fingers right here on either side of the ball. The thumb is on a seam. You push up with the thumb, and then the ball comes out like this. It comes out with no spin. So what happens is the ball will leave your fingers, and then you follow through. Every other pitch, the fastball, you still have the ball in your hand when you throw it. The slider, same thing, ball in your hand. Curveball, same thing, ball in your hand. But the splitter, it's not the case. The ball comes out of your fingers, then starts to almost tumble, but it tumbles with no spin. And when it grabs a seam, that's what pulls it straight down. The ideal splitter is one where you stay on top of the ball, pull straight down, push up with your thumb, and then you get that kind of movement that settles. In the case of Gausman, he can break it either away from the left-hander or into the left-hander, depending on where he puts his thumb. And it's a very good pitch for him.
When you say grabs a seam, what do you mean?
Well, what I say it comes out with no spin whatsoever. But
right.
When the air hits a seam, that's what, number one, allows the ball to go straight down. You don't have the same velocity on this that you would on a fastball.
Right, his is about 10 miles an hour less, like that. Strike 3. Moncada quickly dispatched by Gausman and his splitter. 2-0 after 2.
Prospects Dylan Cease, Lewis Robert, Blake Rutherford, and more take the field as the Winston-Salem Dash face the Bowie's Creek Astros. Coverage begins Thursday at 6 on NBC Sports Chicago. And there's a look at a lookalike for Melky Cabrera. By the way, Melky got called up by the Cleveland Indians. He's in the game tonight. The Indians leading 7-0.
No, he's not. He's right here.
Looks just like him, but not so, because Melky 1 for 2 with an RBI, a run scored, and a walk. Triumphant return to the major leagues for our Melky.
He was just facing Michael Kopech the other night in AAA. He got struck out by our guy, and uh-oh. That ball's drilled by Jones to the corner, and it's a strike that will go unremembered by the box score.
James dropping down and losing command of that fastball tonight. That was up and out over the plate. And Adam Jones hit the daylights out of it, but fortunately on the left side of the line. Probably the worst news for opponents of the Indians is Michael Brantley is really starting to heat it up. He's hitting .338, 2 for 3 tonight.
Foul of third, 0-2. Jose Ramirez right around 300. Francisco Lindor, one of the best players in baseball.
He's struggling. He's only at .298. He got off to a slow start this year, and everybody was wondering, well, what's wrong with Lindor? Well, nothing's wrong with him.
Oh, 2 to Jones. Rondon at shortstop as out number 1. Manny Machado, who popped out in the first inning, but just mashed a ball last night. It was his hardest hit home run this season, and he's had 15 of over 112 miles an hour as it found its way to the left field seats. And here's a look at where you don't want to pitch Manny Machado. That 105.1 is right in that zone. This is from the catcher's perspective, so it's up and away to Machado. He has been a great high ball hitter.
You would, looking by that numbers, the coolest spot on a high pitch is just under 90. So when you're doing that, you're getting it done. I want to keep it down to him.
You know, it's amazing is that up and away zone out of the strike zone is red. That's scary.
Well, he's a tremendous high ball hitter, and it's going to serve him well now in baseball the way it's being called this year, because we're seeing more high pitches called than ever before against Shields, including the out in the first inning, the pop-up to Moncada. He's 4 for 9.
Inside, 2 balls and a strike. He's tied for first in home runs in Major League Baseball. He's the team leader in runs scored, doubles, homers, RBIs, and walks. Check swing, ball inside. He didn't go, so 3-1.
Take some strong hands after you start a swing to check it up, and he clearly checked it up. Even on the appeal, Todd Tishner said nothing doing.
Pretty good pitch to hit, and he flares it to right. Palka started back, and now he's on it for round number 2. Sox fans, join us as the Sox take on the Milwaukee Brewers Saturday, June 2nd, 1:10 p.m. First 20,000 fans get one of these beauts. A replica 1983 road jersey presented by Xfinity, the fastest internet in Chicago. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Get a chance to see Bob Uecker, Hall of Fame broadcaster and a wonderful man as Milwaukee comes to town. They lead the Central. Game and a half over St. Louis. Cubs 2 back entering action tonight.
And for all you Badger basketball and football fans in our viewing area, the opposing TV broadcaster will be, I believe that series, Matt LePay, the voice of the Badgers on radio. A very talented announcer. That's why you shift, ladies and gents. Moncada as out number 3. Shields 2-1-2-3 innings. The O's lead 2-0. White Sox history. We go back to 1977, Richie Zisk's year in Chicago, and that's a long way away. A couple notable things about this highlight. Number one, nobody wore shirts in the 70s, and that's a very lengthy home run.
And Richie Zisk had no knees at that point. He and Oscar Gamble both hit 30 and 30 home runs respectively for the Southside Hitmen. We had 10 guys hit 10 home runs or more, which in that era was a whole lot of home runs. There'll be teams that probably will fly by that here this year, which is a very lively year. The ball is just flying in Major League Baseball this year.
It was like Woodstock out there in center field. Nobody had shirts on.
That was a very exciting year, by the way, not because of no shirts, because of all the offense.
Can you name all the players with 10 home runs? You can say no.
Probably not.
Okay.
But I would say that Ellen Bannister was one. Eric Soderholm at 25. I do remember that. Eric still lives in the Chicagoland area.
Yep.
Let's see, who else might have had them?
Bannister was on the team, but he was not one of them.
Was not one. Well, that brought the team down then.
That's why you remember him.
Yeah. Chet Lemon.
Chet Lemon, 19.
There you go.
Richie Zisk.
Richie Zisk, Oscar Gamble.
Oscar Gamble, 31.
Was Brian Downing a catcher that year?
He was, but he didn't play a lot.
I think we traded him away.
Left side, Peterson for round number 1. You know what else happened this day in Major League Baseball history?
No.
You don't?
No.
Mario Mendoza took his final at bat. It was in 1982.
Did he hit 200?
He was over 200 for his career. He's 215.
Well, yeah, but the Mendoza line was 200.
Yeah.
He had 200 off me, apparently.
He did.
Yeah.
3 for 15 exactly. How symmetrical is that?
There you go.
Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Hence the Mendoza line.
That ball skewered to right field by Abreu, who just continues to pepper baseballs into the outfield. Yet another double for Jose Abreu.
That time he went down and got a good pitch. That ball was blown away. It's a fastball. Guzman gets his fastball hit with regularity. And no doubt, an easy two-base hit.
Jose with that beaming smile. Sometimes that's the only way to tell that he's an actual human being. He's so consistent.
Well, he's also very intense on the field. And when I said that Gosman's fastball was hit with regularity, opponents are hitting close to 350 against him on the fastball this year. That's second worst among all qualified starting pitchers, with the league average of 260. So as good as a splitter is, his fastball gets hit hard. Well, that was a good breaking ball, somewhere between a curve and a slider.
Why does curve and slider automatically become slurve? Why can't it be a collider?
Could be one of those.
That's strike 3. 2 down. Don't you like that better?
No.
Collider?
No, I don't. I think a slurve is much better. It's actually become a hybrid pitch because there used to be a distinct curve and a distinct slider. The slider was called the nickel curve because it was designed to look exactly like a fastball and move about 4 or 5 inches. Now guys talk about depth. They want depth on the slider, which used to be the curveball. Now it's a slider or slurve or whatever. It's not a, what else did you call it?
Collider.
Yeah, a collider. Super collider?
Well, if it's a real good one, it could be a super collider. Look, we're just trying to innovate here.
No, it's really good. It's not appropriate, but it's really good.
Your honesty, once again, is top-notch. 1-0 for Polka. Served to center field. Tailing away, but not far enough, and Adam Jones is on the case for round number 3. 2-0 Orioles. Jason, hi. How
Hi.
are you? What you got for him?
I have the batting helmet that's been here far too long because this is a quality batting helmet. I mean, you can play Nerf ball. You can play.
That's the signal for Nerf ball?
Yeah, you can play one of those and your head is going to be just fine. You can play wiffle ball. You can do all of those things. I wouldn't recommend getting hit in the head with a baseball with one of these, but outside of that, you're probably in good shape. Anyway, if you win, if you're smart enough, quick enough, and have enough intelligence, you can get this.
There's a sign for Nerf ball again. Into the shift, Matkata. We're out number 1. Here is your question for Sox Math today. Hashtag Sox Math on Twitter. First correct answer wins something from Steve. Games left in this homestand, including tonight, multiplied by Tim's jersey number minus his former jersey number. And then you add the number of states adjoining the state the Orioles moved from to go to Baltimore.
I know that state.
You do.
State of confusion.
It's the land of confusion.
But I will tell you, I give you a clue. Bill Veeck owned that team.
Good clue. They also have the same nickname as a current NFL franchise? Some might say.
Yes, but you're getting that's too many clues.
You gave one of them.
Yeah, but mine was obscure. Yours was pretty much right there.
0-1 to Alvarez. Good breaking ball, 0-2.
Next thing you know, you'll be telling him it's a color.
Again, nothing beats your subtlety. 0-2. Swing and a miss. Alvarez just could not get his willpower into the right position mentally. Out number 2.
That one just kept on floating away, and Alvarez decided that for some reason it looked good. I'm not sure exactly what, but it's way outside. He's wondering how he swung at that himself. Oh, geez. Why? Why me? Sound effects.
Usually Doug Buller's purview. 2 down for Trumbo. Whacked into left field and rolling up the alleyway. Engel gets there. Trumbo's on his way to second base, and he is safe with a 2-out, 2-base hit.
2 doubles for Mark Trumbo. We said before the game he was feeling very good, and we're seeing the fruits of his labors since coming back from a quad injury. He drives this ball hard and then runs it into a 2-base hit. Adam gets to it quickly. The throw is there, but not quite in time.
Jace Peterson takes ball 1. Bunch of curveballs here in the 4th inning for James Shields.
Peterson's had good numbers against James in his brief history against him, so I think he'd be careful with first base open. Not that he's the most dangerous man around, but he seems to have seen James pretty well.
Inside and away from Castillo. Trumbo to third.
That one is a very wild pitch. Third wild pitch of the year for James.
Two balls and a strike. Three and one. High in the air, third base side. Sanchez, foul territory in tarp land, and he can't make the play.
Yolmer thought he should have had that, and that ball just kept drifting. And again, it spins back toward the field of play, so if he thought it was going to go in the seats, it stayed in play and then drifted down the line. He sets up, thought he was in position, but hits off the end of the glove and just has it trickle away, and it is no play. Tough catch to make. Had it in the glove briefly. So now another life for Peterson.
3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Trumbo stranded at third. We told you that the swap meet's coming up, but Steve has his own store that he's opening. Would you rather have one batting helmet from Steve Stone or 4 pink helmets from those guys from last night? You discussed during the break.
A pair of White Sox players helped persuade Manny Machado to come to the South Side in 2019. Visit NBCSportsChicago.com/podcast to subscribe today.
The czar of that podcast, Chuck Garfien, is downstairs. He was talking to Nicky Delmonico about that, so I imagine Nicky's one of those players, right?
He is one of those players. He's also good friends with Bryce Harper, of all people, so no pressure, Nicky. Just try to see if you can persuade Manny Machado and Bryce Harper to sign with the White Sox next season.
And, Chuck, I would think for the small price of the franchise, you might be able to scrape up enough money to get both of those guys.
Exactly. That would be quite the move. But, yeah, Nicky talked about that, and so they were on the same U.S. national team in 2009, and also on that team was the current Orioles pitcher, Kevin Gausman. So you had Gausman on that team. They had Harper, Machado, Nick Castellanos, and Nicky Delmonico. And yes, they did win the title.
They better have.
And one of those guys that grew up with him and played with him was Albert Almora, the center fielder for the Cubs. So no end of connections in Chicago for Manny Machado.
And the second player just struck out. That was Wellington Castillo. He was
Certainly did.
So I just spoiled the podcast, but you can still listen to it. There's some good stuff in there.
Chuck, what's the Sox math answer?
All right, let me look at it here.
No. You already lost.
7.
17. T. Dalen, 90 is your winner. So 3 games left in the homestand. 7 is Tim's jersey number, minus 12 is hold number, 9 plus 8 states adjoining Missouri, former St. Louis Browns.
That's it.
Baltimore Orioles. Not a whole lot of carryover from that last Browns team to the Orioles team. They sold off a lot of the players, as there's out number 2. What was it like playing against the Browns?
I never had an opportunity to. I did play for the team that became the Orioles, coming over from St. Louis, however.
I know that Baltimore is not number 1 ahead of Chicago, but Baltimore holds a dear place in your heart.
Well, a lot of good things happened as a member of the Orioles. We had a very good team. They didn't allow me to lose for quite some time. So when you win 202 games in 2 consecutive years, but with no wild card, we won 100 games in 1980 and went home. One of only 2 teams that won 100 games in the era of divisional baseball that just went home.
The other one being that Giants team?
The Giants team of 93. They won 103 games. The Braves won 104.
What a race that was, too.
Woo-hoo.
I know you were involved in the other one, so there might be some heartstrings that we tug on if we talk too closely about that 80 race.
No, it was a great race. We were 11 games back and close to a half game, and Gossage did not give up a run the last month of the season, and that was that.
Rondon grounds out, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Kevin Gausman. Get your funnel cakes here. For my money, the best food at the ballpark. Tonight, Chuck Garfien is downstairs. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. And our entire crew from Guaranteed Rate Field, where the Sox have 3 remaining, including tonight, before a 6-game road trip in division to Detroit and to Cleveland. One strike on Chance Sisco, who walked to flip the lineup over in the 2nd inning. Breaking ball, 0-2.
Sisco drafted in 2013, 2nd round, 61st overall, so very highly thought of. A left-hand hitting catcher, 6'2", 200 pounds. Had a brief trial last year with Baltimore.
And that hits him.
And James is really unhappy with himself because he felt he had him, and unfortunately hits him on a bounce. And whether it's a bounce or whether it's in the air, you get your base. We'll watch it again as he drops that hook right on his foot. James gets good rotation on it, but unfortunately it's right off the toe. And you see Sisco did not make a great effort to get out of the way. He realized that getting on base and rolling over to the top was a way to score some runs this inning.
Left side and through, base hit from Mancini. 2 on, nobody out for the O's in the 5th.
Buck Showalter describes Trey Mancini as a ball player. To him, that's a supreme compliment. A guy that goes out there, gives you the best he can every day, understands the game. He said, look, he realizes that he's not going to hit 310, 320, but he's a good player, plays hard all the time, and has a pretty good idea about what to do and when to do it. That's called baseball acumen. Buck values that above all. He's got a few guys that he describes the same way, and that for him is the highest compliment he can pay his players.
James Shields evidently in charge of the shift. He was pointing at Moncada and saying, get over there.
James has been around long enough to know how the defensive alignment should go, and former teammate of mine used to do the same thing. He's in the other booth tonight. The Hall of Famer Jim Palmer. 8-time 20-game winner.
Right field, Polka. Cisco goes back to second, and that mission got scrubbed at the wrong time. 2 down.
That is a very bad play, because if Cisco just keeps on going, he's going to make it easily, even though he's a catcher. I'm not sure just exactly what he was thinking about, but he tags up. That part's good. He takes off. That part's good, and then decides, uh-oh, that part's not good. A real easy rundown after that. And what looked like a potentially damaging inning now winds up with 2 outs and a man at first. I think Yuan is very surprised that Cisco has not departed second base on his way to third.
We were almost in triple play territory if Mancini got a little frisky off of first base.
And it could have been a 9-4-6-3 triple play. Instead it was just 9-4-6.
Short right field. Polka coming in, and Daniels there skating through for out number 3. A little chancy. He got there, and the inning's over. Nicely done by James and the defense. Orioles with the lead, and Adam Engel leads it off. Then Yohan Moncada and Yolmer Sanchez. Adam showing bunt, as you've called for.
Pretty good idea, because when you take a look at first, Davis is way back. He'd have no chance to get to it. And Peterson was at least a step in back of the bag. Now he has shortened it up a bit.
By the way, on the Winston-Salem Dash, you'll see them on our airwaves Thursday night from the Piedmont Triad. Dash games, select games will be televised here on NBC Sports Chicago. Joe Weil, the outstanding play-by-play announcer for the Dash, will be on the call as Adam bunts it foul, 1-2. That's an interesting team at Winston-Salem. Loaded with outfielders.
Yeah. And the skipper, Omar Vizquel, who's going to make a great major league manager.
Why do you say that?
Because talking to him about baseball, he knows it inside and out. And I think if you're a shortstop, it behooves you to know every other position and how it works. The reason being that although catchers normally are the captain of the infield, if that catcher doesn't want to take control, the shortstop is on the field, and he's got to know where the outfielders set up. He's got to know the defenses. He has to know all of the shifts. And so if you're not going to have the captain as your catcher, it's really great to have a shortstop. I think ideally you'd like to have the shortstop as the smartest man on the field. I know Derek Jeter for years was the smartest man on every field that he played on. Manny Machado playing shortstop now, a position that he reveres. He came up as a shortstop, shifted to third, now back to shortstop where he's playing very well, and he wants to stay there. That'll be part of the negotiation when he goes to any team. He's not going to want to move back to third base.
Splinters everywhere. Engel is out. One away. Sox fans, book your group of 25 people in the CIBC Fan Box. The Fan Box is the only suite located on the lower level concourse behind Section 134, providing the benefits of lower level sight lines with the luxury of a premium suite. For more information, 312-674-1000 or whitesox.com. And for more information, here's Chuck.
Let's go back to the top of the inning. James Shields was in a heap of trouble, first and second, and nobody out, and his defense helped him get out of that inning, and he pumped up every single White Sox player as they headed back to the dugout, thanking them for their service.
That's great teamwork, and we've seen that, Steve, all year from James Shields in the way he's helped the young pitchers with small tweaks, and then the rah-rah there, too.
Well, he was always a leader just about on every staff he's been, but it's especially important on this staff because you have so many young pitchers, but also so many young players. They call him Grandpa for a reason, not because he's all that old, but baseball-wise, he's been around a long time. He's seen everything this game has to show him, and he's imparting that wisdom to all of the young players on this team. So his contributions to this ball club go far beyond the numbers on the field. And he's going to tell these guys things that they can take with them the rest of their careers. So if he's not done playing wherever it is he does go, he's going to be a very valuable member of that staff, and hopefully he gets to play 3-4 more years. Right now, after reinventing himself, as Chuck illustrated before, he's thrown the ball pretty well.
Up the middle, center field, Moncada with a hard hit ball right back through the origin.
Yuan's at the point now, and it was a shame he went on the disabled list because he was really heating it up as far as the long ball was concerned. He's at the point now where if you get careless with a fastball, he's going to hit it hard. And that was a fastball, outer third and belt high, and he drilled it back up the middle.
Well, entering play tonight, Moncada was second on the Sox in terms of exit velocity on average for the year. 93 miles an hour was his average exit velocity. That one came off the bat at 104.6.
And at 104, you're just not going to have a chance. If it's not hit at anybody, nobody's going to run it down. And that's where exit velocity really helps a hitter. Everybody thinks it's merely on the long ball. It's not. It's ground balls and line drives through the infield, and the higher the exit velocity, the more likely you are to shoot it through.
If you're wondering, okay, why does exit velocity matter? Why does it matter? It's because of this. You hit the ball 91 miles an hour. Your batting average last year is 251 on those balls. You add 9 miles an hour, 9, and you double that to over 500. That's why it matters.
And again, it doesn't matter very much on the distance. You hit a home run 405 or you hit it 420, nobody really cares. It's getting it through the infield or by the outfielders if you hit it in the gaps. The harder you hit the ball, the more likely you are to find base hits.
It's all about reaction time.
Sure, you have no chance at all if it's not hit right at you. You might get a step to either side, but that's about it. And, you know, we've seen hitters in all shapes and all sizes. We've seen very big hitters like Aaron Judge. We've seen very small hitters like Jose Altuve. We've seen wide hitters and thin hitters. But the characteristic they all have, and making a study of hitters, trying to get them out, and shaking hands with a lot of them to congratulate them hitting me, I found one characteristic, and I'll tell you about it.
After this ball finds a home in the glove of Trey Mancini, 2 down.
For a quality major league hitter, there is one thing you can't substitute for, and that is tremendous hand and wrist strength. You can have guys with big biceps or small biceps. It doesn't matter very much. You'd like bigger forearms rather than smaller, but the hands and wrists are the thing that really make a hitter because you're able then to generate more velocity through the zone. There was a time when everybody would swing a 40-ounce bat thinking that it was mass through the zone. It's not. It's velocity through the zone. That's what gets a ball to jump off the bat. And any of the good hitters will have very strong hands and wrists. For all you young players out there that want to be hitters, you keep your hands and wrists as strong as you possibly can with all of the exercises, all the advantages that they have today with these refined programs where they teach kids how to do it. Make sure your hands and wrists are very strong and you're going to be able to hit.
I want to double back to something. You shook hands with people who got hits off you?
Oh, of course. You wanted to make friends with them, so then when you got them out the next time, they wouldn't think too bad of you. No, we were in a very small fraternity, and I wasn't one of those guys that hated the opposition simply to hate them. I knew that their job was to get hits off me. My job was to get them out. And so at the end of the game, you used to wind up at the same places. And you'd talk to them about, hey, what were you looking for in that situation? A lot of the guys would tell you.
To third, fair ball. Peterson across the way. Jose beat it out.
Not sure exactly what Jace Peterson was thinking about, but Jose runs a whole lot better than people think, and he waited back. Now the inning stays alive. The Sox have a chance. That could prove very costly with Matt Davidson coming up. Peterson was without a sense of urgency here. He took his time. By the time he got it across, and a nice pick by Davis. It's just not in time, and Jose sniffing base hit. And here's why you like to see the veterans hustle. That's a great example of it. That's a routine ground ball to the left side. If Jose just takes his time to first base, he's out and the team's out of the inning. But by hustling, he kept it alive and got Matt Davidson a chance to drive in some runs.
That is the equivalent of the pop-up from last night dropping.
Yep, that's it. And as Ricky said after the game, look, 99 times out of 100 you catch that pop-up, but the one time you don't, if you're not running, the team looks awful. And you don't take advantage of what the opposition gives you, and that's a very good stop. Cisco is shown to be a pretty good catcher. You can see why he was drafted in the second round.
Not only a clean catch, but good technique there, too.
Well, catchers know that if they call a breaking ball and the ball hits the dirt, it's going to back up. If he moves to his right to follow the breaking ball, when it hits, it's going to come back to his left. So you don't overshift with that or the ball gets by you.
1-2.
That splitter is mystifying Matt Davidson and a whole lot of the Sox hitters. It's a good one. It's late breaking, it's sharp, and you're not reading it out of Gausman's hand.
One-two. Foul again from Matt Davidson, who's walked and struck out tonight. Hittable tonight, but good when it mattered for Gausman so far.
Giving up 6 hits. Could have easily given up just 5 and out of this inning, but he's got to make some tough pitches to a huge RBI guy.
He did. 2 left on for the Sox, 7 for the game.
White Sox farm system as the Charlotte Knights take on the Indianapolis Indians. Coverage begins at 6. You can stream the game on the NBC Sports app.
We saw the Melky lookalike and now a Milkman t-shirt in the crowd. There's strike one from Shields to Scope. Former Little League World Series champion all the way back in 2004 with the team from Curacao.
That was a good slider from James, his best of the night. He had Scope well out in front of it.
Tipped foul off of guess who.
Got a piece of Wellington again.
That's the 5th time tonight. Oh, and 2. Breaking ball drops in for strike 3.
Scope thought it was high, but that was a good pitch. Stayed on the inside part of the plate, and it just buckled his knees. He was hoping to get the call. The call he got was, "Take a seat, young man." I think he's just fooled.
That's filthy.
Good pitch. Good deception because the arm came through, the ball just never got there.
How about another?
Once again, James has very good stuff tonight. Gave up 2 runs in the 2nd inning, and that's been it. Pretty good numbers so far. The 4 hits, just 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts.
Remember, he's coming off his season high 8 strikeouts. He was outstanding in that game against Texas earlier this homestand. Essentially an extra outfielder for the Sox against Davis. Another breaking ball. For a limited time, get 2 outfield reserve seats for just $20.18 with the Dads and Grads flash sale. See, because it's 2018. This ticket package is the perfect gift for Father's Day or the recent grad in your life. Visit whitesox.com/dadgrad to purchase your tickets before time runs out. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Punch out number 5 for James Shields. As we take a gander at the White Sox Farm Report presented by Guaranteed Rate. And it's Jordan Stevens, the former 5th-round pick out of Rice for the Sox. 6 1/3 in his 2nd start for AAA Charlotte and a 2.19 ERA. Curveball was very good last night. Two out for Alvarez. I know everybody's talking about Michael Kopech with AAA Charlotte, but look, Jordan Stevens dominated AA. He's come up to AAA and pitched very well.
There's no end of the arms in the minor league system. They have outfielders and arms.
And some outfielders with arms.
Few. 2 per outfielder. The future is indeed bright. But you do have to have experience, and that's what's happening down there.
James in danger of losing Alvarez for the 2nd time.
Especially you put him on, you keep the inning alive, and Mark Trumbo has seen him very well, parlayed it into a couple of doubles and an RBI.
The old green light.
Fastball right down the middle. He swung through it.
.162 career home runs for Pedro Alvarez between Pittsburgh and Baltimore. 3-2. There is Trumbo. 2 hard doubles to left field for Mark Trumbo tonight. Shields comes back to get Alvarez. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Shields lets her eat. Grab some nachos and come back with us. Say, show me the Chicago White Sox into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. And if you say, show me some runs, maybe you can help get the Sox on the board tonight. Try it, everybody.
Cosman's been awfully tough. That splitter has been exploding downward, giving up 6 hits. But other than that, with runners in scoring position, he's been untouchable. You're going to give up 6 hits in 5 innings. You can't walk too many people. He's only walked 1.
Ball and 2 strikes on Polka. Daniel lights one up into left center field. That's a base hit on 2 strikes for Daniel Polka.
That is a splitter, and he catches it off the end of the bat, dumps it into left center field.
What do you think for batters facing Gausman? What do you think the advantage does later on in the game against his splitter? Is that the type of pitch you can gain a lot of intel on from seeing it a couple times?
I think you have an idea about which way it's going to break, but he can break it both ways.
This one shattered by Castillo to left field. Polka's on his way to third. Wellington to second. That's unoccupied. And the Sox have the tying run in scoring position with nobody out in the 6th.
Third time through the order. The Sox are 4 for 6 with Moncada, Abreu, Polka, and now Castillo with base hits. This is the only double in the bunch, the 2nd extra base hit, 3rd extra base hit of the night. And with James Shields holding him right there after some early scoring, the team in a position to come back in this one.
This is pretty much exactly where the Sox were last night. It was a one-run game with second and third, nobody out in the sixth. Garcia is the batter, then Rondon and Engel with a 2-0 score on the board, and ball one from Gausman. There's different hitters last night: Castillo, Anderson, and Engel. Tonight, Garcia, Rondon, and Engel. 1-1.
Looks Showalter is going to concede the run. And for Gausman, who probably is a better pitcher now than he's been during the course of his career, he doesn't have the big fastball. Fastball is good. It used to be great. And Buck does not have the bullpen up and going quite yet.
Third time through the order has been actually remarkably effective this year for Gausman. We'll see if the Sox can stop that trend.
Gausman pumped it up to 95 that time. Now you would think that the splitter is forthcoming. And a lot of those wind up in the dirt. 4 wild pitches this year. So Daniel had best take a good secondary lead.
Called strike 3 on the corner. Cisco caught it softly, and the 7th strikeout for Gausman.
That time he went to the fastball and threaded the needle on the inside corner. A little movement back. Cisco just eased it into the zone. That was caught well, framed well, and that's where you buy a strike. It was a borderline pitch made to look a whole lot better. So a key at bat by Rondon here as they move to the middle of the ball game. Now the infield does come in.
Boy, Steve, there are a lot of good signs for the Orioles with that young catcher, Cisco.
Defensively, he's very good. Right now, the glove is ahead of the bat. But he swung it pretty well in the minor leagues, so it bodes well for him, and he's getting his opportunity as Caleb Joseph was sent back to the minor leagues.
0-1. 0-2. Strike 3. Rondon with first base empty is thrown out. 2 gone. Engel coming up.
So the first inning, the Sox had 2 on with 2 out. Second inning, 2 on, 1 out. Third inning, Abreu with a double with 1 out, stranded at second. Fifth inning, 2 on, 2 out. And this inning, 2 on, now with 2 outs. 2 on, nobody out to start with, and Cisco goes to the mound to talk with Gausman.
Well, Adams so far tonight has seen 9 pitches, 5 fastballs, 4 splitters.
Last time up, he tried to bunt his way on, and this time they're way back at the corners with Peterson and Davis. Nowhere to be seen pinching at the corners.
Fastball first at 96.
Well, we speculated that he had it, but he's pitching comfortably at 93. Still going back and getting 95 and 96 when he needs it.
Oh, 2. Last time up, Adam broke his bat on a splitter on 2 strikes.
Gausman has averaged about 6 innings per start, and he's 2 away from the 100 mark.
High fastball for strike 3, and that will do it. Gausman strikes out the side. Sox maroon 2. Thursday, it's May 24th as the Sox take on the Orioles. 1:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans in attendance take home a beautiful White Sox in the Windy City t-shirt. Get your tickets at whitesox.com today. You never know what the conversation is going to go to during the break.
No, you don't.
That's part of the fun of being at the ballpark. Get a minute and a half to chat about whatever with your buddy. Trumbo takes a strike. Shields trying to drop Trumbo for the first time tonight. 2 doubles to his name.
And neither are cheapy. He's hit them both hard. James about to deliver pitch number 95. He's gotten this game into the 7th inning and thrown brilliantly, but his mound opponent, Kevin Gausman, has thrown a bit better.
He didn't go. 2-1.
To me, like he swung at that, and I think Mark got the benefit of that call.
I would think with all the innovations in the game of baseball, we could find a definition of a swing.
Well, it's one of those things about good art, you know it when you see it.
Trumbo to right field. Good news is he's only going to get 1 base out of this one. You ready to go shopping?
Sure.
All right, time to visit the swap meet. Chief Operations Officer C. Kamka. All right, you picked first last time, is that right?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll pick first this time.
Pick the guy on the left.
I'm going to pick the guy on the left.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, sure, you want the higher on base percentage. I'll take more home runs in this day and age. More home runs is the key. And WAR is identical. So, okay, I'll take the guy on the right.
Very sporting of you. Love shopping at the swap meet. You never know what you're going to buy.
If I win, do I get a trophy?
Sure. But you don't get to see it before you get it. Curveball for a strike to Peterson. Wonder who it could be. It was through age 24. I'm going to say one of them is Manny Machado. There's a bunt foul. 0-2. One with Kamka being topical sometimes and all. Trumbo at first, 2 strikes on Peterson. That one flew on him, 1-2.
Orioles desperately looking for a little insurance. This game for them has gotten uncomfortably close. Sox have not been able to hit with runners in scoring position, and it's come back to haunt them.
There was about an 11-game span. Sox were hitting around 300 with runners in scoring position, but the last week and a half that has dropped precipitously.
Bullpen up and going as James is right at the century mark. It's Bruce Rondon.
And once again, dramatic video with a live telephone call to Kurt Hassler.
And also the attempt to put 2 Rondons in the game at the same time.
One and 2. Fades away. Now, if the Sox could find some way to get Jose Rondon, Bruce Rondon, and Carlos Rodon in the same game at the same time.
That's tantamount to where the Cubs had Sundberg, Sandberg, and Sanderson on the same team.
2-2. On the ground, Moncada. Rondon. Double play, 4-6-3.
Nice quick double play. And helping James, who's been masterful tonight, get 2 outs in the inning with Cisco up.
That may have saved a full inning for the bullpen. We'll see.
James would love to go 7.
Cisco got plunked on the shoe last time on 2 strikes. Then he walked in the 2nd inning.
And then helped the Orioles out of the 5th inning, which looks so promising. They had bad base running play.
He went around 0-2. Yeah, Cisco started to peel away for 3rd to tag up. Then halfway through it decided he didn't want to go. And then he was out.
It was too late at that point because the throw from Daniel Polka was coming into 2nd anyway. He'd have gone to 3rd uncontested.
And that's why you always hit the cutoff man.
You certainly tried to. And now a little more help out there. It's Chris Beck joining Bruce Rondon.
Moncada on the outfield grass throws out Cisco, and James Shields is through 7. The Sox will come back with the top of the order after this. Lifetime experiences from Chicago White Sox games to amazing concerts and shows you don't want to miss. StubHub, your ticket out. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago White Sox. James Shields through 7, and you imagine he's done with all the high fives and the hugging and whatnot. His catcher gets a warm embrace and gets lifted off the ground. And some sweet nothings.
And it was quite a night for James Shields. He was very good tonight. Unfortunately, the man on the other side, Kevin Gausman, has been a touch better. Sox have had their opportunities. They've touched up Gausman for 8 hits, but cannot break through to this point. Well, he's made some good pitches when he's had to make them. And you wouldn't think that Buck Showalter is going to be too patient. He does not want Gausman to lose this game.
Bunt jabbed foul, third base side.
Sox were going through a lot of bunting drills before the game today as Ricky Renteria deciding he wanted everybody in the lineup to be able to lay down a bunt. So with Darryl Boston manning the pitching machine, which gets it up there around 80 to 85 miles an hour, the guys went through bunting drills, then took some infield practice. So they worked a lot before the game, and that one, the technique wasn't quite there. pen up and going. And it's Michael Givens who was really good in last night's game. The tune of 2 innings, 2 strikeouts, and nothing else doing.
Michael Givens is the equivalent of knowing you're getting married on a certain day, waking up, looking at the weather forecast, says 105% chance of rain. He was nasty last night.
He was very difficult.
3-2. He got him swinging. 1 away. Let's see what we bought at Kampka's swap meets. I have the guy on the left. You have the guy on the right. Through the age 24 season, what did we buy? Cal and Manny. How about that?
You got a Hall of Famer. And then you have a guy that, if he keeps on going the way he's going, just might get there. But the one thing he won't do is play as many consecutive games as Cal Ripken. And he was a teammate of mine. In fact, the night I decided to retire, he started his streak. How Kafkaesque is that?
That is very. Jones trying to bait Sanchez into, well, nothing. Yolmer's on with a 1-out single. And here comes Buck.
We figured that he was on a short string at the 106 pitch mark, and again he will leave with a chance to win. He can't lose, and now the game is in the hands of the bullpen and Michael Givens most likely. Here comes Givens as he trots in. We'll step out and we'll be back. And it is about time for Michael Givens to come into this one, on for the 21st time. The ERA at 2.84, 31 strikeouts in 25 2/3 innings. And let's take a look at the Xfinity high-speed action after something happens with Jose Abreu.
Hopefully that something is a departure.
2 for 3 tonight. But Givens is a tough customer. And Jose did not face him. Well, he did face him once, lined out to center field. And let's take a look at the Xfinity high-speed action powered by aforementioned Xfinity. That double with the exit velocity of 102.3 miles an hour. He has been a doubles machine.
9 hits last 5 games for Jose Abreu, including tonight. 1-1, Chuck.
Jose Abreu, one of the most giving athletes in Chicago. It's in the 4th year now of the Abreu Amigos program, which supports children with special needs. Today, he took part in the Good Guys group with Easter Seal students working on social skills, friendship, and anti-bullying. And that's his friend Ari. He visited with him. He's an Abreu Amigo. He's been in the program for a few years, and as you can see there, he loves Jose Abreu.
Yeah, they are best buddies. As Jose fouls it away, 1-2. Jose is a team leader for a reason, and you just saw what's in his heart as well. That is a genuine article right there.
Got his batting average up to 310.
1-2. Right on him, the knuckles. Still 1-2.
When you have as nasty a slider as Givens has, you've got to keep hitters honest by going inside. And Jose that time had to pull his hands way in just to stay alive in that at bat. He knew he really couldn't handle that one. That's one you don't want to put in play because it yields soft ground balls to the left side. He was able to foul it off and stay alive for what should be one of those sweeping sliders.
See if he catches too much of the plate.
He's going inside. He's going to stick with a fastball.
Jose inside outs it to center field, and Jones 2 away. Bring your family of 4 to a White Sox game for as low as $49. Our family 4-pack includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas. Upper level and lower level packages are available, and you can check them all out. The available dates at whitesox.com/4packs today.
It's a pretty good deal. In fact, it's a very good deal.
Dinner, tickets, all in one.
4 hot dogs. Bring one of your friends and eat 2 of them.
That's a strike call to Davidson that was a little south.
Bill Miller's had a good night behind the plate. That time he expanded his strike zone and called one out of the zone. And if someone is going to get an expanded strike zone this year, it's going to be Matt Davidson. He's in one of those streaks where if the umpire has any missed pitches, is going to be against Matt. It goes in streaks, and he's on one of those streaks.
What gives him a chance to have that happen too is the fact that he's just seeing so many more pitches this year.
Been much more selective than at any time in the course of his career.
That's in there for a strike. 0-2.
Now, we've seen the velocity a lot better from Givens than it is right now. That was 93. Last night he was getting it up there at 96 and 1 pitch at 97.
.96 that time for strike 3, and that will do it. Grab a snack, come back. We're going around Major League Baseball. We'll tell you about some Sox teenagers with dingers after this. Ball to the bullpen as Juan Soto, 19 years old, 207 days. He goes deep in his first major league start for the Washington Nationals. Youngest player to go long since Bryce Harper in 2012. But when you're the new guy, sometimes they don't know how to spell your name. He was Juan Soto on the Nationals Park scoreboard last night.
And there is a look at Bruce Rondon, who comes in to relieve James Shields, who was brilliant through 7 innings. Gave up a couple of runs on 5 hits. There you look at the numbers for Rondon on for the 15th time. His ERA is decreasing. He's 1-2 1 for 1 in saves.
Ooh, that was ugly looking for Trey Mancini. Strike one.
He buckled his knees and it snapped over the inside corner.
Ooh, slider is just filthy right now.
1 inside, 1 outside.
All right, so you've seen that twice. What do you want him to throw here?
I want him to throw another slider, but he's likely to try to go with a fastball away.
Up high at 97.
Really don't like setup pitches very much because sometimes they wind up in the outfield.
Just get him out, right?
If you can throw another slider for a strike, you will get him.
Quick pitch. Mancini, the former Notre Dame baseball player. He didn't start in his first collegiate game, then started all the rest. Swing and a miss. That was up for strike 3.
That was a hanging slider, and still Mancini had no chance against it. But watch it again. It's not where he wanted it, but it's what he's left with, and Mancini goes down on strikes.
That at bat was like the first time you get handed a Rubik's Cube.
Everything was mystifying that at bat.
Here's Jones, who's grounded out twice and gone to right field last time. Sox will have Polka, Castillo, and Garcia coming up in the bottom of the 8th. But again, chances tonight as well for the Sox. 21 combined stranded runners the last 2 nights.
And 9 hits tonight. So Gausman was touchable, but never broke. A little help from Givens getting out of the last inning. He threw it real well.
Well, the Orioles, before they got here, they got shut out by the Red Sox and put up 13 hits. That's tough to do.
When you don't manufacture runs, you're not hitting and running at all. And you live and die by the home run. When you don't hit a home run, it's tough to score, although they scored 2 tonight without hitting a home run.
Whacked to left field by Jones and all the way to the wall. So Adam Jones turns it on as Garcia fumbles with it slightly. And it's a 1-out double for Adam Jones.
That time the slider stayed over the inside part of the plate, and Adam Jones drilled it.
Walk Machado here.
I would certainly think so. Take your chances with Scope.
Ooh. Well, the Sox last night intentionally walked Machado with the bases empty and 1 out in the 6th.
That was after the home run in the 4th. Pen up and going. Chris Beck has been throwing already, and Aaron Bummer joins him. Bummer ready for Davis. Though Davis did absolutely nothing with James Shields in the righty-lefty matchup.
If Buck Showalter wanted, he has 4 right-handers on the bench, including Danny Valencia. So ball and a strike on Machado off that slider.
These days, if Ricky goes to the lefty-lefty matchup, I'd rather face Davis with a righty-lefty matchup than Valencia against a left-hander, where he's hit over 300 lifetime.
By the way, that phone's ringing off the hook in the bullpen. That's twice we've gone to the bullpen camera and the phone's ringing.
Well, they know that Beck is ready. They want to know if Bummer's ready.
Manny Machado trying to stifle some laughter. I don't know if Castillo's talking to him or what.
Probably telling him what pitch is coming. Catchers will do that on occasion. Try to mess with the mind of the hitter. I don't think I'd throw him anything too good to hit. Invite him to get himself out of the strike zone, but
Castillo's got to be talking to him, right?
You would think so. They're very good friends.
(3-1). Grounded foul, 3-2.
That was a good slider.
All right, so you got him 3-2 now. What do you throw?
Another slider. If you walk him, you walk him. Maybe you can freeze him on something that breaks right at him and over the plate.
Foul ball. That was the idea.
Sounded like he broke his bat.
Hey, MLB at Bat is your #1 White Sox app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get White Sox home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. It's got everything. Download MLB at Bat today. You got Moncada and Jones talking at second base. You have Castillo trying to make Manny Machado laugh at the plate.
Trying to break everything out of the bag to retire him and keep this score at 2-0 Orioles.
3-2. He went fastball down in the zone.
And Machado with a good cut at that one, but he wasn't exactly right on it because it wasn't fouled straight back. It was fouled just off to the right, meaning that he got beaten with that fastball, but he was good enough to stay alive. I go right back to the slider because now Machado's in swing mode. You might get him expanding his strike zone and swing at something out of the zone.
There he does. Strike 3 on the slider. Machado sent away by Rondon.
And Castillo wanted timeout. Was not acknowledged by Bill Miller. That's a break. But again, Machado in swing mode continued to swing. That ball was way out of the zone. And fortunately, Miller did not give Castillo the timeout. You see a very awkward swing. Look at Castillo. Right there. He wants timeout. Not acknowledged by Bill Miller. And that's a lesson to all you hitters up there. You can call timeout, but unless it's acknowledged, you're going to go on with the pitch. And Rondon, apparently something went wrong on that last pitch.
Herb Schneider, Sox trainer, out to the mound.
Could very well be that an awkward step. Bear in mind, by the time Rondon got in here, a lot of pitchers have been thrown, and sometimes when you step, you're not going to step in the exact same spot. Sometimes you turn your ankle, and sometimes you step past where the cutout is. See right there, he steps to the side of the worn out area. You fall off the mound, but he gets Machado to swing at a terrible pitch. That's a huge out. And now 1 out away from getting out with the same 2-0 deficit.
Two down for Scope. That slider has been really nice looking for Rondon tonight.
And Wellington is trying to avoid the backswing of Scope, which is a big backswing. Last thing he wants to do is get hit in the side of the head with it.
Ball and a strike on Scope, who singled and scored in that second inning. The second was the only inning with runs in this game. Baltimore got 2 on a Trumbo RBI double and a Jace Peterson RBI ground out. Rondon thought that just stepping off would be enough. Jones decided to stray away from the base, and so Bruce had to fake a throw. Up the middle, Moncada. And the Sox will get it back, still in a 2-0 ball game. Polka, who went to the same college as Matt Skoll, then Wellington Castillo and Leori Garcia in this 8th inning. Both Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, Daniel Polka and Matt Skoll.
Greg Gentry, who was in the ball game last night, checks in defensively here tonight.
We saw Polka come out for a defensive replacement for the Sox yesterday, and eventually his spot ended up coming up as the final out of the ball game.
Brad Brock threw a fastball by Trace Thompson, and that was that.
Sox have left at least one runner on in every inning but the 4th tonight.
You probably didn't know that tomorrow was the authentic fan night at the ballpark.
I will soon.
It's our first one. What are you excited about?
How could you not be? Well, the fans who are diehards in 2018 are the ones who should be first on the list to get rewarded when the Sox prospects get here to the major leagues. And this thing makes the turn that Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams and everybody with the Sox expected to turn.
And hopefully that's going to happen before that guy gets any older.
Looks like he might be able to cast a spell on you if you keep talking like that. Polka to right field. That ball hit well. Trumbo toward the line. He can't make the catch. Polka's going to get to 3rd on this. The throw is way late, and Daniel Polka with 3 bases to start the 8th.
Long run for Trumbo, but he should have had that ball. It landed just about the middle of his glove and bounded away. It is a 3-base hit. as Trumbo went a long way for it, but he did get there and just misses it. And even though it's a long run, you got to make that catch in the major leagues. But a break with Polka off to the races.
So now a golden opportunity for the Sox. Wellington Castillo takes ball number 1 as the Orioles play the middle infield back.
They have the luxury of a 2-run lead at this point, and Buck Showalter's willing to concede the leadoff triple.
Castillo bloops it over second base. This is 2-1 with nobody out in the 8th inning.
Wellington with 3 hits tonight, and run number 15 driven in. That looked like a slider that stayed inside. And Givens missing his spots, maybe the second time in as many nights. He's feeling some fatigue.
Sox do have Tim Anderson and Trace Thompson with speed on the bench. Castillo remains in over at first and with a short bench. Don't want a pinch run for Castillo right now.
Well, you'd have to think if he gets to second base, he might be thinking about putting one of the faster runners on.
That's called a strike. Ball looked like it tailed away. 1-1.
It looked good enough, although it was off the plate.
1-2 on Garcia.
Took something off that one, had Leary well out in front of it. Sox have out hit the Orioles 11-6. Finally breaking through here in the 8th.
Strike 3, 1 away. So it's Rondon, then Engel in the 8th as the Sox are guaranteed to have the top of the order one more time. 1 out, bottom 8, 1 in. Castillo at first. Can't bunt that ball.
Thought about it, but that one was following him. Jones and Soria loosening in the pen.
That was closer than the one to Garcia, 1-1.
Yeah, that one had arguably a little piece of the plate there, Soria and Jones. I figure it goes like this. If you score a run, you probably go to Jones. If you don't, you go to Soria for the 9th inning.
Explosiveness of Givens' fastball, 1-2.
Leans back, gets 96 on that one.
One, 2. Upstairs at 97, fouled away.
There's an example of going away from Givens' strength, which is down both with the slider and the fastball. He went to the weakness of Rondon, which was up. But at 97, it's tough to catch up to the ball up there.
Rondon, right side, and down. Castillo guns it for third. Runners at the corners, 1 away. And trouble brewing for the Birds in the 8th.
Tried to get that ball up and in. It didn't stay in enough. So he tries to go to the hitter's weakness instead of his strength, and it cost him a base hit. He fights it off, brings the hands in, and able to guide it into right center field. Runners at the corners with only the 1 out. And Adam Engel up.
Well, we saw the Sox in this type of situation show bunt as Trace Thompson's going to come out of the dugout and pinch run for Castillo.
Well, perhaps we're in a situation where that bunting practice before the ball game might pay some dividends. With Thompson in at third, got a lot more speed than Wellington. An angle up against a hard-throwing sidearm right-hander.
Castillo 3 hits in 4 tries tonight. Angle the batter and a throw to first.
Almost threw that ball away.
Adam 1 for 6 in the series. The hit was a single to left in the 5th last night. There's the bunt shown. He pushes it first base side and it's foul. Givens smacks it into next Tuesday.
That ball was fair for a bit, and as soon as it trickled foul, and that was a safety squeeze. Thompson was not running. He's waiting to see if he gets the bunt down. When he saw that he got it down, he takes off. And you see he's not going. That's called the safety squeeze. That ball fair briefly, and making sure is Michael Givens that it does not have a chance to roll back in fair territory.
Thompson at third, Rondon at first. Pops it foul, 0-2. Nick Capra with the signs at third. Adam Engel receives him. Adam trying to bear down with 2 strikes. Another throw to first on Rondon. Oh, 2. Up high. Throw does go to second base, and it's a steal for Rondon. Thompson stays at third.
Cisco decides to throw through. Machado covering. And you're not going to run on that arm.
First career stolen base for Jose Rondon. He's in scoring position. 1 and 2 for Engel. Almost hit him. 2-2.
Givens is bumping it up there at 97. Rondon can get a great lead at second base with the infield in at all 4 positions. They're in at the cut of the grass. And behind them, Rondon getting a huge lead. So on any base hit, he's scoring.
2-2. Up high, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Engel, who drew a walk late in the game yesterday against Brock on a full count, has it full again with Moncada on deck. Three balls, 2 strikes. Givens and Engel. Here comes.
Bounced straight back at 97 again. Adams staying alive.
Eye to eye, Givens and Engel. 3 and 2. Inside ball 4. That is likely the last act for Michael Givens in this ball game.
Not near as effective tonight as last night, maybe 2 nights in a row, maybe a whole lot of pitches, and so we will step out and be back with the drama after these messages. It's Authentic Fan Night at Guaranteed Rate Field. You watch the Sox take on the Orioles. Visit the Authentic Fan booth located outside sections 157 and 158. Grab a free t-shirt while supplies last. Time now for a Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. And with the bases loaded, Richard Blyer comes out for the 22nd time. He's been brilliant, but he's got his hands full. Infield in at all 4 positions.
Moncada takes inside. He nearly got grazed by it. Thompson at third, Rondon at second, Engel at first. Adam with another late walk to flip the card. Blyer is very fastball heavy. Moncada just 238 against the fastball from this side of the plate this year.
However, he saw a slider and swung through it.
Downstairs, 2-1.
Reason why Buck Showalter went to the left-hander, it's not the career with the bases loaded. At 500, it's because Yuan from the right side hitting 154 this year, but he's in the driver's seat in this at bat.
Grounded foul, 2-2.
There's another slider.
Moncada in the air to right field. Trumbo is underneath. Thompson's tagging, and Trace Thompson scores the tying run. Rondon to third, 2-all in the 8th.
Armband number 16 for Yoan Moncada. That ensures that James Shields cannot lose, Kevin Gausman cannot win. And the hands of the bullpen will determine this one. Two runs charged to the man you're looking at, Michael Givens.
Yolmer Sanchez on the ground and foul, third base side. Chuck.
This game very similar to last Thursday's start for James Shields against the Texas Rangers. The White Sox trailed 2-0 in the 8th. The Sox scored 4 runs in that 8th inning, won the game. They've got 2 so far, tying the game for James Shields and the Sox.
Well, that bodes well for this at bat. The Sox can take the lead and make it the same. As a throw to first on Adam Engel.
Runners in scoring position. Yolmer has been awfully good.
Yolmer Sanchez, who was a right-handed hitter growing up, it was suggested to him at age 15 that he think about becoming a switch hitter. He did so. So this is his original dominant hand, though he's been better from the left side this year.
You would think now we'd see Nate Jones regardless of what happens from here on out.
One and two from Blyer. We'll wait.
Rondon came well down the line on that soft throw to first base.
To right
Yolmer's just a terrific clutch hitter from either side of the plate. He drives in his 21st run on his 3rd hit of the night. Sox have come roaring back after being dormant, after knocking at that door all night long. Come through here in the 8th inning.
They've knocked out both Givens and Blyer. Yolmer Sanchez, that's for Noah. 3-2 Sox in the 8th and deeper into the bullpen. Go the Birds. Sox try to build this rally even more. Bottom 8 when we come back with Abreu.
And to try to stem the tide, the Orioles go to Miguel Castro on for the 18th time, and he's been pretty good. The ERA at 3.18, but not a big fastballer, and left-handers have torched him. Right-handers, he's been good, but he hasn't faced a right-hander this good in quite some time. With Jose trying to add to the lead.
Inside ball 1. Davidson is next. 2 on, 2 out. Yolmer Sanchez, the big hit in the inning after the Moncada sacrifice fly. One and one.
Good slider, and you know, this inning, as it played out, couldn't have been possible without a good eye on the part of Adam Engel, because he fell down in the count, battled him, finally drawing a walk as he did last night in a similar situation, drawing a 9th inning walk to keep that inning alive. And tonight, more of the same.
Another slider whipped in there, 1 and 2. Abreu 2 for 4 in the game, 4 for 8 in the series. One, 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. But the Orioles just got yo-yoed. Moncada a sac fly. Sanchez an RBI single. To the 9th inning we go. The Sox are up 3-2.
Camp, bring the fun home.
Sox are trying to bring a win home. Nate Jones to the mound. He'll face Chris Davis first in the top of the 9th.
And here's a look at Nate Jones and what he's been doing lately. And lately it's been pretty good. On for the 19th time. He's 2-1, 3 for 5 in save opportunities, but he saved his last 2 in a row at an ERA of 3.5.
For the most part, he's kept left-handers off first base. But when they've gotten on, it's been in a big way. 6 hits allowed to left-handers, 2 homers and a double, part of that. And he's got the left-hander Davis and the left-hander Alvarez coming up.
2 home run hitters who don't hit the ball if it's up. Not quite that up.
Two and one. Upstairs, close pitch. 3-1 as the Sox bring Trace Thompson into right field. Omar Narvaez behind the plate. Castillo pinch run for by Thompson. Three and one for Davis. Fouled back.
A little tardy on that 98 fastball.
With the win, the Sox would be 4-2 on the homestand with 2 left with Baltimore. Fastball missed. Pedro Alvarez with the tying run at first.
Alvarez has no speed. You'd love to see him roll over on one to the right side. It would turn into 2.
Sox are shifting to the pull side on the infield, so it would be a funky double play, but you'd get it done.
They'd have some time to get it done.
Oh, and 2 slider from Nate. Davis at first. Just chopped foul.
That was a good slider. That was low and in, and Alvarez able to get the top of the baseball and keep the at bat alive.
Slider for strike 3 and 1 down.
Steady diet of sliders, the last of which put Alvarez away, and that one just disappeared out of the zone. Good downward movement here. With Alvarez had 2 choices, lay off or go down on strikes. He chose the latter. And a man who's had a big night, Mark Trumbo. Career off Jones, 2 for 7. He has fanned, however, 3 times.
Line to center field. He went after the first pitch, and he's 4 for 4. Two on, 1 out for Baltimore. And they will pinch run. Joey Rickard is on for Trumbo as the lead run for the Orioles.
Optimistically, the closer, Brad Brock, is throwing in the Oriole bullpen.
Last time up, Peterson grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. Arm side miss again for Nate. 2 balls, no strikes.
There is Brad Brock. He did save the ball game last night.
Two and 0. Upstairs 3-0. See anything mechanically here?
Nope. Same Nate.
Three and 0. In there for a strike.
They just have to make sure the game doesn't go too quick for him. Sometimes he has a tendency to speed it up, and usually the front side flies open and the ball winds up high and away.
Called strike 2 on the fringe.
Nicely done by Omar Narvaez as far as easing the ball back into the zone.
Three balls, 2 strikes to Peterson. Into center field. Engel makes the play. And just barely, Davis gets back.
Chris Davis straying off the back, thought that ball was going to fall and had to hustle back to keep the game alive. Adam Engel charging, making sure he catches this one. It's not a sinking line drive. It held up. Gets it back in, but Davis back to the bag.
It's up to Cisco. Not even close. 0-1.
Very anxious, expanded his zone, and it was way out of the zone.
Nate doing some footwork. Two on, 2 out. One more of those looks like it's going to close the deal.
Well, he's got a very anxious Cisco expanding his zone. Both pitches were sliders. One bottom part of the zone. The first pitch well out of the zone.
One ball, 2 strikes.
That's a big save because the ball flattened out. Omar went down, smothered it, and made sure that 90 feet was not had by the 2 base runners. Davis and Rickard. Rickard with pretty good speed, representing the go-ahead run at first. And a nice job by Narvaez.
Sox stormed back with 3 runs in the 8th inning. 1-2 from Jones. Fouled away by Cisco.
Nate reached back and got all he could. Got 98 up, and Cisco able to fight it off and stay alive. Now you'd think one more slider could get the job done.
One and 2. There it is, and there he goes. The Sox surge back to win 3-2 over the Orioles. What a win.
Nate Jones made it hold up. The team that was quiet all night long finally broke through in the 8th inning. Some key base hits. Polka with a triple. Castillo with an RBI single. Rondon with a big single, then the walk by Engel and the sacrifice fly. But Yolmer's base hit was the capper. Sox win a big ball game and come from behind style.
3-hit game for Yolmer Sanchez. He's knocked in 21 runs this year, from a bit part player just a couple of years ago to a very important starter for this team this year.
Just like we promised, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment. And it's Yolmer slicing this ball into right field. It plates the go-ahead run. And the Sox complete the comeback, and Nate Jones makes it hold up.
Well, I'll tell you what, this team, which had gone through a streak that was really tough at home, including the home opener, you end up losing that game. Nate Jones was on the mound there, and now you start to feel the emotion and the surge coming for this team at home.
And last night, look, it was disappointing with the Sox losing a close one to Baltimore. They returned the favor here tonight. But the fact was that Gosman was just too tough, gave up nothing. Sox had some opportunities, couldn't cash in. They did cash in late. It was a rally in the 8th inning, and nothing psychs up a ball club more than winning a game late when you've been trailing all night long, and that was the case this evening.
Part of the reason for the victory, Wellington Castillo, 3 hits tonight. He's downstairs with Chuck.
All right, thanks, Wellington. You guys were knocking on the door. Finally, in the 8th inning, you broke through. What happened in the 8th inning that allowed you guys to come back and win this?
Finally we put everything together. We made in base. The hits come true, and we keep falling down. And the situation we start keep coming. So at some point we have to do our job. So and that was the inning that we did, and we always think that we can come back. So we have really good players and hitters in the lineup that we always think that we can come back for the games.
How much did you guys want to win it for Shields, too, the way he pitched for you guys here tonight? Of course Yolmer Sanchez would do that to himself.
Shields been grinded lately. He been grinded in the mound, so he deserved this win badly. So and the way that he been pitching, he give us the chance to score runs and stop the other offense out there. And finally we get our offense going. So I'm really happy for him.
Can you just describe what we just saw here?
I don't know. He been doing it lately, really. So.
That's not for you.
You never know. So.
All right. Congrats on the win, Wellington. All right. Back up to you guys.
All right. So you've heard of Niagara Falls. This is a trip on every walk-off to Yolmer Falls. Evidently, vacation packages are now available to go to Yolmer Falls.
Well, look, I think that Yolmer did that simply because if he dumped it over Wellington, Wellington would have probably pinched his head off. So I think it was a wise thing, and the boys are very happy tonight, deservedly so. James Shields deserves a better fate. He got another no decision, but he threw very well. So it doesn't diminish his effort, and the team coming back, it's a big win tonight.
Certainly is. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
3-2 your final scores. Sox are winners. For our producer, Keon Dolan-Shahi, our associate producer, Dave Ross, our technical manager, Mark Harper, our director, Jim Angio, and our executive producer, Greg Bowman, and our entire NBC Sports crew. Thanks to everybody. For Chuck Garfine, Steve Stone, I'm Jason Benetti. So long from Guaranteed Rate Field. Coming up next, Subaru White Sox post-game live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago. A beautiful win tonight.